I'm getting married to my fiancé Eric in a few months. He has 3 children, one of which is disabled since birth. His mother left early and Eric has been caring for him ever since. His name is Brian, teen male. While we were discussing wedding planning, Eric told me he's planning on moving Brian to a care home after we get married. I was shocked. I asked why, and he avoided answering, saying it's for personal reasons. I tried to get him to explain why because I found his decision unbelievable. He said something about rearranging family dynamic and wanting us to live normal family life. I was floored at this point. I didn't want to keep arguing because he seemed upset about it. He might be dealing with caregiver burnout or something, but he's the parent and shouldn't just basically throw his son in a care home, especially when his son is still minor. I'm now considering the wedding, but I don't know if I'm making the right decision since mother-in-law told me it was none of my business and that I should respect her son's decisions. My own folks say this shouldn't affect my marriage to Eric since he's trying his best to make everyone happy. Am I the idiot for reconsidering my marriage to my fiancé after he said he'd put his disabled son in care home after we get married? Edit: Brian's disability is mostly physical and not intellectual. He's wheelchair-bound and requires a lot of care. Eric struggles with the hygiene part of care, especially with Brian getting older. Eric has never complained about having to care for Brian, but he told me that Brian's disability was the reason his ex-wife divorced him. I've already started taking part in his care a year now. Oh, a year. Your fiancé has been a caregiver for 15 years. He's most likely exhausted. It's not that he doesn't love his son, but sometimes they just have had enough, or the child needs more care than the parent can give. How judgmental of you. He's allowed to want to have a break, to be able to do something and live a little. You don't understand. You've only been doing it a year. You're like a new nurse before they become older and over people being nasty to them. You can break up with anyone for any reason you want, but in reality this is a stupid reason to call off a wedding, especially if he treats you well. You are the idiot. Teens are also an age where a young man can start to be bigger and stronger than their caregivers. I can't even imagine my 5'2" self trying to navigate the world as a caregiver with a typical sized teen who gets violent. I wouldn't last a day. There comes a point when unfortunately it's safer for everyone for them to be in professional care. He's not abandoning his son, he's protecting everyone involved. He doesn't want to talk to you about the thought process of sending his child to a care home. His family says it's none of your business. How do you marry a man who's making major life decisions and doesn't even think about telling you why and what his long-term care plan for his child is? You are definitely not the idiot. He needs to speak to you as his wife and tell you what the heck is happening with his child. Agreed, this is accurate. Regardless of the extent of his son's needs and the reason he may have, the main issue here is how he brushed you, his future wife, aside. Then the way he phrased it is a kind of red flag. It sounds like he's making major decisions without you. Definitely reconsider marrying him. Honestly, I'd be scared that my fiancé would want the normal family. What is a normal family? The perfect one? Life is hard and he can't just get rid of a child because he doesn't fit with his perfect family. So what would happen to our own children if one is disabled? What would he do to me if I had a car accident and was disabled? So I couldn't trust this man. He has his reasons, but I couldn't trust him. I, female 25, recently found out my cousin, Lucy, 23, hooked up with my ex, Jet, 27, right before he broke up with me. I was absolutely distraught when we broke up. I had no idea why it was happening. Jet and I had been together for 3 years. We talked about the future, marriage, kids, all of it. It felt perfect. So when he broke up with me out of nowhere, I was completely blindsided. He told me he just wasn't feeling it anymore and needed some space, but I got no real explanation. He wouldn't tell me what I'd done wrong or even if it was my fault. He just shut me out. I spent the next few months crying, trying to figure out what went wrong, racking my brain, feeling like a total failure. I asked him about it several times, but every time I reached out, I got the same vague, I don't know what happened responses. I mean, he was everything to me. I couldn't believe I lost him and I couldn't move on, even when my friends kept telling me he probably had someone else. Well, last week I finally found out the truth and I'm honestly still in shock. A mutual friend of mine and Lucy's told me that she and Jet had hooked up before he broke up with me. Apparently they'd been flirting for a while and then one night things just went too far. I was furious. This whole time I'd been mourning the loss of my relationship when the whole time it was because my cousin was messing around with him. I was so angry at both of them, but mostly at Lucy. She knew exactly how important Jet was to me. She was the one I'd gone to for advice when things were tough in the relationship. She's always been there for me, telling me I deserve someone who treat me right, and then she goes behind my back like this. I confronted her about it and she didn't deny it. She said, "It was before he broke up with you. I didn't think it would mess things up this much." But it didn't matter when it happened. It felt like betrayal, no matter how she spun it. Honestly, the worst part wasn't just her hooking up with him, it was that she kept it from me. She knew I was suffering and she said nothing. And that's where my friend comes in. I had a friend, Tina, 26, who knew about this whole situation and she never told me. I talked to her about how crushed I was, about how I just needed some kind of closure, and she just listened and comforted me, but she never mentioned anything about Lucy and Jet. I found out from someone else, and honestly, it broke me even more. To find out that she knew and just let me suffer, that's not a friend to me. I ended up cutting both Lucy and Tina off. I know some people think I'm overreacting, but I feel like they both betrayed me in the worst ways. I don't care if Lucy didn't mean to hurt me, she knew what she was doing, and the fact that she didn't tell me makes it even worse. And as for Tina, how could she stand by and watch me go through all that pain and say nothing? I've blocked both of them and I haven't spoken to either of them since I found out. My family's a mess now. Some of them think I'm in the right and some think I'm being too harsh. So, am I the idiot for cutting off my cousin and my friend after I found out what happened? Not the idiot. Your cousin cheated with your boyfriend who lacked the balls to break up with you when he and your cousin started flirting. Your alleged friend knew but never told you. None of these are people needed in your life. With friends like them, who needs enemies? Good riddance. Hopefully you now have some closure over your trashy ex and cousin and can move forward. Here's a lesson I wish I'd learned much earlier than I did. It's a cliche, but it's one for good reason. Because it's true. Living well is the best revenge. Definitely cut out both these people out of your life completely and do not tolerate anyone trying to convince you to do otherwise. Now you need to focus on bettering your life in every way. Here's the tough part. In order to accomplish these things, you mustn't dwell on the betrayal. Avoid bitterness and anger like the plague, for it will do nothing but poison your heart and wither your resolve. Do not allow yourself to feel a fool. It wasn't a failing of yours that you were cheated on. Go and be happy. The wickedness of your cousin and ex will be their own undoing in time. I'm 16 female and my dad passed away last year. Him and my mom had been divorced before that and they used to split custody, and she's been remarried to my stepdad for years. My sister is still a baby and my mom is 5 months pregnant with a baby boy. I guess the problem started when my sister started teething. It was at the beginning of summer break and my mom would just let her cry it out in her nursery alone, and my sister is loud. Not only was it annoying but also kind of sad because she's just a baby and going through pain alone, so I used to grab her and try to soothe her. Being held and letting her chew on her fingers helped her some, and I saw a TikTok of a teething baby using a cucumber and tried that too, and it was like magic. Anyway, I thought babies just teethe once and I was so wrong, so it became a routine of me taking care of her a lot. Mom didn't care as long as she wasn't crying, and I liked hanging out with her. It wasn't 24/7 obviously, I had a part-time job and friends, but whenever I came home, she would practically leap out of Mom and Stepdad's arms wanting to come to me. She also started fussing a lot whenever my mom would try to put her to sleep, like full-on baby kickboxing, but she doesn't have that problem with me. She just kind of cuddles up to my chest and drifts off. Anyway, I thought that was a baby being a baby, but my mom was fuming after my sister's birthday party because she wouldn't let my mom hold her in pictures or for the cake cutting, and my grandma made a comment about my sister and I being like Siamese twins, but I just took it as we're close. I don't know. My mom was fuming, like I said, and she said that I'm confusing my sister into thinking I'm her mom and that I need to take a step back and stop it. What am I supposed to do? Just ignore her whenever she cries or whenever she babbles for me? It's not like I push my mom out of the way to get to her, it's just that she'd be napping or in the bathroom or something and I don't want my sister crying her little lungs out. Am I the idiot for confusing my baby sister into believing I'm her mom? Not the idiot. Your sister prefers you over your mother because your mother has failed her as a parent. From the sounds of it, you're the only one who comforts her when she cries, shows her affection and gives her your time, and cares for her needs outside of physically. Your mother is a bad parent. Who leaves a baby to scream and cry and thinks that's okay? If she wants to throw a hissy fit over the fact her teenager is more of a concerned parent, then let her. Keep doing what you're doing because this is helping your sister more than you know it. When I was younger, my mum would lock me in my room thinking it would make me go to sleep. It didn't. It traumatized me. I hate the dark and being alone, and she didn't care. She neglected me all throughout my childhood, and only now in my teens am I realizing how horrible she really was. She calls me rebelling when I don't want her near me. Please try to get out of that toxic environment like I'm trying to do. I don't know the full story, but no mother should feel jealous of their daughter for parenting better than her. I have 3 siblings, my older brother John, my younger brother David, and my younger sister Jessica. This whole thing started around 15 years ago when David got a girlfriend with whom he was inseparable. Maria would always be around, which annoyed John and me because we were older than them, but we eventually came to accept it. My mom loved Maria, and I used to joke that she was her favourite child. Eventually we also got to know her and she became part of the family. The problem started a year later when Maria broke it off with my brother, and from what I know it was her choice. If there were any drama or infidelity involved, I wouldn't know about it. My younger brother was heartbroken, and that night was the first time me and John took him to party with us and let him have his first experience with alcohol. He was 16 at the time. My mom and David had a couple of big fights because she was still always around after their breakup, which at the time was really funny to me. But as I got older and saw my brother be excluded from everything, I just felt like we were losing him. I've tried talking to my mom about it, but she always tells me that we're all her kids, that she invited everyone and that it's David who refuses to come. We had a couple of fights about this, but my mom won't give in and says she's not excluding anyone. I even suggested we invite them in turns, like she comes for Christmas and he comes for New Year, but she keeps saying no. She says that she's not depriving her daughter and grandchild of spending New Year with their family because my brother is such a baby. So I sat Maria down and tried to be honest with her. I told her that I really liked her and maybe we could have been friends and family if the situation had been different, but I had to choose and my relationship with my brother was more important to me. She got pretty angry, which I could understand, and told me that she only had us and that if I expected her to tell her kids that they couldn't see their grandparents anymore, she would. I told her that I asked her to have no contact with them, but that I was just defining my relationship with her. I'm sorry her kids don't have a lot of family, but she can't just expect me to be their uncle. She didn't accept this and started to badmouth me to anyone who would listen, how I was a misogynist and a bad person. Some extended family believed her, but my siblings pretty quickly took my side, and she's kind of become isolated since. We didn't even go to her birthday party this year, but we got an earful from our parents. Like I'm sorry she felt hurt and cried, but she needs to understand we don't consider her family and move on. So it kind of came to a head over the last family dinner last week, where we, like usual, were ignoring her and went to the living room when she and our mom were talking in the kitchen. My mom eventually came out and started to scream at us again about us being bad siblings, and I kind of lost it. I told her that it's funny how she cares so much about her while David has not been to one of these dinners in years. My sister tried to stop me and maybe I went too far, but I told her that she needed to get it through her head that nobody wanted that woman here. So Maria heard me and started crying as she got her stuff and left. And to be honest, I didn't care anymore. All my life she's been weaponizing her tears against me and forcing me to have a relationship with her. That night I told my siblings I wasn't coming for Christmas and that I was having it at our house with David and they could come if they wanted to. They both were hesitant but accepted. I told my parents the same thing via text and haven't answered their calls for the last few days. My mom messaged me that I should be ashamed of myself and that she was not coming or ever speaking to me again. I told her that I wasn't excluding anyone and that she was invited and it was up to her to accept or not, which I know was kind of petty of me. She had blocked me and didn't even let my dad come over to watch football last weekend. My fiance thinks I'm taking this too far, but I feel like I can't sit by and do nothing anymore as David gets left behind by his family for some random woman. Edit, Maria's child is not my brother's. I thought I said that by mentioning I was not the uncle. Wow, the mom has forced one of her kids out to make room for his ex and now she's torpedoing the rest of her familial relationships. Impressive. Not the idiot. Your bro won't forget your support and your mother has lost her damn mind. Your mother would rather have a relationship with someone who is not her daughter than the 4 kids that she does have. Maria was also only dating your brother for a year when he was 16 before your mom essentially adopted her. The mom is enjoying being a hero to the point it's become the most important thing to her. I say everyone's an idiot. Calling Maria out like that at the dinner was rude, and it was incorrect to say nobody wants her there. Your mother does, for one. How did she prevent your father from coming over to see the game with you? Was she holding him hostage? David is a big baby. This was a kid's romance he had when he was a teen. He certainly should have got over it by now. As your mother says, he's been invited to subsequent functions, so he's not being excluded. Would be perfect if he showed up with another girlfriend. But why did it take you guys 15 years to come to your brother's defense? Once you saw how David wasn't coming to events if Maria was there, you should have brought it up with your mother then, and when things didn't change, stop going yourself. That would have been better than your final blow-up. Now it sounds like your family is ruined.